To all the non-believers, 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 non-believers. I'm making out.
What's good, y'all? This is Jay Varsity, and welcome to another episode of NBA Talk. This is episode 144, and we're going to be going over the two conference finals games that have gone on so far this week. We're going to cover Game 2 between the Suns and the Clippers, and obviously what happened last night with Game 1 between the Bucks and the Hawks. So let's get on right into it. Let's start with the Clippers and the Suns. We already had an exciting Game 1, especially with the battle between Paul George and Devin Booker, and we already knew that this series was going to be a roller coaster ride. But I don't think we expected what we were going to expect in Game 2. Game 2 was another battle, and it just seems like whenever one team is starting to pull away, the other just comes back with a quick counterpunch. It's been that way through the past two games. Anytime that the Clippers come with a couple threes or they go on a short run, Phoenix makes a run of their own. But with the lack of with no longer the presence of Kawhi Leonard, to me, it's gonna be kind of difficult for the Los Angeles Clippers to keep up with the firepower of the Phoenix Suns. But so far they've been holding their own, especially with the result of Game 2, which ended on a game-winning alley-oop. And I have to give my props to this man DeAndre Ayton. He held his own, especially in Game 2. He's been proving to be one of the best bigs. So in this game, he's come of age according to some people, but to me, he's just finally grown and developed, and you would think that this Phoenix team would be too young for these big moments and all that, but no, they're ready for this moment. I don't think that's no longer a concern. They were ready for this, and you just see it in their fire, their never die attitude. It's like they're never out of a game. They're never out of a game. When you have a guy like Devin Booker, especially, and a great leader like Chris Paul, who's supposed to return in Game 3, how can you not fight for those guys? They're great leaders. They'll go out swinging. And so DeAndre Ayton, he did his part, and he dominated on the boards. He put up more points in production when Devin Booker only put up 20 points. And then Cameron Payne, also great, solid backup point guard with 29 points in his start. And to me, that's what I say when the Phoenix Suns are a handful for the Los Angeles Clippers. Yeah, the Clippers are a great defensive team. Don't get it twisted whatsoever. But to me, offensively, the Clippers, the offense is not consistent enough to contend with a team like the Phoenix Suns, because they can move so fluently. They could they find great cutters like Mikal Bridges, like Torrey Craig, Cameron Payne, Cameron Johnson. They have great players who know how to play their roles, and that's what makes their offense so effective and so explosive, that it, to me, is going to be too much for the Clippers, especially when you don't have a great defender like Kawhi Leonard. Now, not saying Paul George is not a great defender, but he already has his hands full trying to guard Devin Booker, which I don't know, which me personally, for some reason, why they have Patrick Beverley guarding Devin Booker is beyond me, because I think in Game 3, you're gonna have to switch Patrick Beverley back onto Chris Paul, because he's supposed to make his return in Game 3. I'm not sure. It's most likely he's gonna return in Game 3, and that's gonna be even more dangerous. Yeah, add that they haven't had Chris Paul in the last two games, and now you're bringing back Chris Paul, and they still don't have Kawhi Leonard. To me, that's already another problem, because Chris Paul is a great floor general. He dominates from the mid-range, and he just knows how to pick apart a defense. And Devin Booker was already doing that in Game 1, and he did it in Game 2. So that to me just adds another element to the Phoenix Suns that is gonna really frustrate the Clippers, because the Clippers, they have to live on this identity that they just have to defend and get quick, fast. They have to try to depend on quick, fast break buckets or tough, timely threes because they don't have a fluid offense. And yeah, they've been down 0-2. This is the third time that they're down 0-2 before, but I don't see another miracle coming their way where they're gonna come back and make this a series because again, this is not the Dallas Mavericks where you only got to worry about Luka Doncic and Tim Hardaway Jr. This is not the Utah Jazz where you only got to worry about Donovan Mitchell, where you didn't have to worry about Mike Conley and you only had to worry about Donovan Mitchell and Jordan Clarkson because Rudy Gobert was just not he's just not offensively versatile in any way, shape, or form. But when you're playing against the Phoenix Suns, you have to worry about all the shooters that they have, and then you also got to worry about with DeAndre Ayton because he could dominate the boards and he's a good post defender. He has held his own against some great bigs. He had the fact that his first playoff series he had to hold his own against Anthony Davis. While being a hobbled Anthony Davis, it's still Anthony Davis. He still had to put up his own at that end of the floor while at the same time being productive and trying to put up points and rebounds. And Devin Booker is just a straight killer. And I laugh and I repeat this again. It's just funny how I hear Jeff Van Gundy saying that Devin Booker finally has mastered the mid-range. No, he's been known how to use the mid-range. You're just paying attention to him now. You just haven't been watching Suns basketball. I've followed the Suns for quite a few years. I've known about Devin Booker's game, and it's just now people are starting to realize who the hell he is, and that just goes to show you how the media works. Like they don't pay attention to all the games. They only look at the big markets, and until those small market teams start winning, they're not going to pay attention to you. So to me, that I'm loving what I've seen for the Phoenix Suns, and like I said, with adding Chris Paul back in Game 3, and the Clippers still they still don't have Kawhi Leonard, which I doubt they're even going to ever see Kawhi Leonard for the rest of the postseason. It's just going to be too tough for the Clippers to try to come back in this series. They might take one game at most. They might steal a game at most, but I don't see them winning another one after that. Like I'm not predicting a sweep, but if a sweep were to be the case, I wouldn't be surprised. But like I said, I think the Clippers will steal one game. They will take one game in this series. That's my opinion on that. And just that was just a crazy game winner. Like I've never seen a game winner like that in the playoffs. Like, and it was so close too. It's like wow. And for people saying the Clippers got robbed and everything, dude, shut up. Like, dude, shut up. If you want to blame, if your first accusation of why the Clippers lost is because of the refs, you're out of your damn mind. You know who you need to blame for that? You need to blame Paul George for choking on those 2 free throws. You had a chance to put the game away. You're up 1. And all you have to do is hit both free throws to ice the game and make it a 2-possession game, and you completely choked. Or maybe not even a 2-possession game. You make it a 1-possession game where Phoenix would have to take a 3 to tie it. But no, you choked both free throws, and you gave Phoenix an opportunity to win the game, and circumstances came around, and Phoenix won at the buzzer. So that's my thing with that. Now let's get on to the Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1 last night. First of all, I'm just gonna get this out the way. Trae Young put on an absolute show last night. Trae Young put on an absolute show. He is showing the NBA world that he's a superstar, and it's just he's one of the best playmakers I'm seeing today. He gets his points in the most crafty way I've ever seen because he doesn't stop for a pull up. He doesn't heavily depend on 3-point shots. He rather kill you with his floater from the free throw line all night long than have to chuck a bunch of threes. And that's what I'm loving about Trae Young's game right now. It's like he knows he can hit it. He knows he's a threat from the 3-point line. He's a threat from deep. But when he kills you from mid range and you don't know what to do about it, it's like when he kills you with the floater and you don't know what to do about it at that point, that's where he's the most dangerous, because then that's where he finds his playmakers. That's where he finds his other teammates. When he found John Collins for that off the backboard alley oop, I was in shock, because first of all, I haven't seen something like that in a conference finals game. I haven't seen something like that in a conference finals game, and the way he just picked the Bucks apart. He picked them apart. Like, he single-handedly picked them apart, because I'm gonna be honest here, the Hawks did not play their absolute best game. The only other player that probably played a decent game aside from Trae Young, I would probably say, is John Collins. I would say it's John Collins, because even Kevin Huerter was like, he was okay, but it was like he wasn't as explosive as he was in Game 7 against Philly. But like I said, Trae Young he was just an absolute entertainer last night. And the fact that, I still can't take the fact that he was so wide open. He crossed over Jrue Holiday so bad that he literally did a shimmy before taking a 3-point shot. That's got to be the most savage thing I've ever seen. That's got to be that's some cold-blooded stuff right there. Like, oh my God. Like Trae Young frustrates me, but in a good way. Because he's going to be a guy I love watching to play, but I would hate to watch him do that against my own team. So that's just my perspective of how I saw Trae Young last night and how entertaining he was. Now I'm going to get into the Milwaukee Bucks aspect of it. The Milwaukee Bucks, I'm low-key frustrated with the Bucks right now. I'm really frustrated with them in the fact that they did not take this game seriously at all. They did not take this game seriously at all. They treated an Eastern Conference Finals game like it was a regular season game. Like, I sat there, and when the Bucks decided to lock in, they would constantly be on a run, because whenever they decided, let's trap Trae Young, let's trap him quickly, let's stop him right here, let's stop him before the free throw line, they got quick turnovers on the Hawks, and they would constantly be on the attack, and they would get points easily, and they were attacking the paint, which is what I loved that they did. This is not completely ranting on what the Bucks did bad. The one thing that they were doing very well, they were taking advantage of their size and they were attacking the paint, but then they walked away from it. And that's another thing that pissed me off. That's another thing that really pissed me off. Why did they start settling for a bunch of quick jump shots and threes? Now, Jrue Holiday, he was on fire at one point, and eventually he flamed out. It wasn't like Mike Budenholzer took him out for no reason and all that. But I don't know why Mike Budenholzer, he tried to match the Hawks shooting, and you absolutely can't do that. You cannot try to outshoot the Hawks. I said it in the beginning of the season. You can't outshoot the Atlanta Hawks. They have too many shooters, and Trae Young is too good of a playmaker to allow a team to outshoot them. They got too many snipers on this team. It's like the Houston Rockets from years past. You can't try to outshoot the Houston Rockets, because they're gonna try to they're gonna shoot the insurmountable threes. And that's what the Bucks tried to do. They tried to match the Hawks in 3-point shots, and you can't do that. You have guys that could dominate the paint. They outsize them. Take advantage of your size. Take advantage of your size. And then back to what I said about the Bucks not taking the game seriously. I saw Giannis sit down 3 times in one quarter. I saw Giannis sitting on the bench 3 times in one quarter. And it's like they have this mental aspect of We're not dealing with the Brooklyn Nets anymore. We're not dealing with Kevin Durant. We're dealing with Trae Young. Well, again, you're dealing with Trae Young, and you saw what he's been doing since the start of the playoffs. He's been averaging 29. I think he's been averaging 29, 6, and 9. I believe. I'm not reading no stats or anything like that. So correct me if I'm wrong. But Trae Young has been picking apart the Eastern Conference in the playoffs, man. Especially what he did to the Sixers. I mean, come on, man. How do you not take Trae Young seriously? And it's like I'm not gonna completely just roast the Bucks, but I am really frustrated that they did not take this game seriously and they treated this game like a regular season game. I expect the Bucks to make some serious adjustments in game 2, and the way they could get out in transition as quickly as they did in game 1, I expect them to be able to do that twice as much in game 2, because there's no reason why a team that just came off a game 7 should be able to be on the floor with you in a game 1 after you knocked out a team in a game 7 also. Well, I guess you could say both teams came off a game 7, but I would still say that the advantage still should have been with the Bucks, because their game 7 was on a Saturday and the Hawks game 7 was on a Sunday. So I would say that plays a bit of a difference, in which is why I don't give a pass to the Bucks for this loss. But I again say they did not take this game seriously. I expect them to make huge adjustments in game 2. I expect Giannis to be more assertive in game 2, because when he is aggressive on the defensive end, they're very explosive in transition, especially on the fast break. That's one thing that the Hawks they are doing very well. They're not allowing the Bucks to get on the break. They're fouling quickly so that they don't get easy transition buckets. I noticed that very early, but the key to this is gonna be like the Bucks' key to success is attacking Bojan Bogdanovic. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but you need to attack him, because obviously he's not 100% and he's moving very stiffly. So whoever has him as his primary defender, go at him. And if the Hawks come with a trap, they're too small. Find somebody that's going to be in the paint. Somebody cut. I want to see ball movement like I saw in the first quarter. I've never seen that much ball movement from the Bucks like I saw in that first quarter. That's what I want to see more often. The Bucks could literally have the Hawks running and scrambling all over the place if they played just like that. So, again, like I said, I expect big adjustments in game 2 when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks. I expect a tighter trap on Trae Young. No more of that drop defense, because Brook Lopez should not be dropping when he sees Trae Young about to shoot up a floater. So again, Trae Young is gonna get his numbers one way or another, but it's like you gotta try to be able to slow them down at least. Slow down the 3-point shooting. Slow down the chances at getting lobs. Like that's frustrating to me, because I know this Bucks team is better than how they played last night. They're a lot better than how they played last night, and I expect a better game from them. Anyway, I think that's it. That's all. I covered both conference finals games. Like I said, we'll see what goes on in game 3 tonight between the Suns and the Clippers, and I guess that's all. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell if you like basketball content. This is your boy Jay Varsity, and I'm out. Peace.
We got some non-believers out there.